Yes. Welcome to the Nintopics podcast. We are live. We are here. We are the Fantastic Four, right? The Fantastic Four. Trying to figure out something to call us. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for being here. We are here. First of all, I'm gonna give you a little bit of announcement. If we get over 100 viewers today, I will bring back tournament. Okay, every winner of the tournament will always get like a little prize, maybe a game, gift card, things like that. If we get over 100 viewers, so share this live with your grandma, with your grandpa, with your auntie, your uncle, your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, your neighbor, and your pets. Okay, especially pets. We want to see pets here. All right. And so with that, I want to introduce the all-star cast that we have here today. We have crazy topics, but let's introduce the all-star cast here, starting with Joyce J. How are you doing, Joyce?
Yo, how is everybody doing this evening? Hey, how y'all doing? You look good. You know what? You see that guy over there? Love your hair. Everybody has fabulous hair. Y'all look good. You didn't have to dress up for just for us.
This is my hair reveal. First time I don't wear hair. I don't wear hair. I don't wear a hat. My hat's on. Hang up. Hair reveal. But next up, Landon from New York, from London.
From London. Yeah.
London?
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
What's going on, man? I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Doing good. Thank you, man. Thank you, man, for being here, Bob.
Well, thank you for having me.
I gotta say something about Landon, man. Landon is a special friend. Okay, this guy right here is blowing up on YouTube. He has over 275,000 subscribers and growing. Okay, I would say about like 5,000, 6,000 per month or something like that. Growing like crazy, right? But this guy always responds to every single message. It's like he's front and center. He's a good friend. I want to give him a shout out for that. He's a really good friend, and I want to thank him publicly for just spending an hour with us, right? So, thank you, Landon. You're awesome, and I appreciate you. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you guys too. I'm
man.
glad to be here.
And then we got here the Shigeru Miyamoto's long lost brother. We got Shigeru Miyamoto's long lost brother. We got Dougie Bowser's cousin. What else we have? The co-creator with Shigeru Miyamoto and that other guy of Zelda and Mario and everything. All Guild Network. How you doing, Paul?
True story.
So some of that is true, or a little bit stretched, but within the realm. Yeah, it's been good.
You don't have to be humble.
AKA Dr. Nintendo, by the way.
It's been a good week. Like I told you right before the podcast started, for the chat to know, I started my new semester of teaching. It's been a pretty good batch of students so far, a great batch of students, I should say. 270 people, some returning from previous semesters that took me for different classes, now taking me for different ones. I've got 9 courses overall, and yeah, it's fantastic. Still having time for video games, and still doing my connections and stuff like that. So it's a mixed bag of everything that I love to do.
Awesome.
Nice.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you for sharing.
Got some good student stuff later on, probably to talk about.
So today we got really good topics we want to jump right into because first thing, the chat, you are the true superstars here. Thank you so much for being here with us and just kind of spending time with us, just talking Nintendo, right? Because it's what we love to do. We love to talk Nintendo. And today we have some amazing stories, right? We have some breaking news for today, right? And then we also have big stories. And I just can't wait to get into it. Right now, we're gonna start with Switch 2 news because I know you guys want to know what has happened in the world of Switch 2 news. We're getting news daily, okay? And as we get closer to the launch, things are gonna get even tighter and tighter when it comes to news. And so, one thing that we have to kind of notice as we get closer and closer is that once we start getting news from assembly lines and people that have information about parts and things like that, we're close. And so I want to shoot out. I want to pass the ball over to Landon. Landon, you're gonna shoot a 3-point with this one, and let me know what if you can recap for us what's going on with the latest in regards to Nintendo Switch 2? Take it away.
Alrighty, so around this morning, Bloomberg, this comes from Bloomberg, they actually posted the fact that there seems to be production actually going on for screens regarding the Switch. This comes from Takahashi on Twitter. I got it up right now. It says Nintendo will launch next-gen game console with 8-inch LCD, lifting up demand for display panels by 14.6 million units. So this thing is literally in production. So I mean, there's no taking back, and people are like, I don't know if it's coming. This is probably some of the best information that we could get right now, that the thing is coming soon. I mean, it's just all but confirmed at this point. Yeah. But yeah, to sum it up, it's just we're gonna have a bigger screen. It seems like it's looking like it. At least the base models aren't going to be OLED. I still think there's a chance there could be a better model or something, or probably like a half generation like we had already with the OLED. But I mean, that's some pretty serious information right there.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it. First thing, people have to understand that technology moves forward, right? And so OLED, I mean, LCD is not the same LCD from 7 years ago. LCD has improved as well. I think there's an LCD called LTP, which is basically a brighter, more colorful, more true to color LCD. And so if Nintendo goes with LTP LCD, that paired up with an 8-inch screen, I mean, we're in it. We're in it. It's gonna be awesome. And hopefully they do that. They have small bezels instead of that they go on. That way it looks cool, right? You can actually makes it look cool. And so, I mean, I think that all but confirms that Nintendo Switch 2 is on its way, because they can be, and the production can have already started, and maybe that commercial is already ready. The announcement is already ready. They're getting ready for that. And so, when do you guys think we could see a potential announcement being made for this fall? What do you think?
I think they could do the announcement in a couple of ways. I think that potentially around their investors meeting report, which we're going to get on February 8th, which will also be probably close to either just after or several days before the next Nintendo Direct, they could announce that within the coming months, Nintendo will be providing an update as to the successor and slight information about it following Nintendo Switch. Kind of like how back in the day they had an announcement of just letting you know Nintendo is actively making something post Wii U called the NX. So that could be how they first publicly finally announced that a platform is coming, and please wait at a later time in the year. And then potentially a couple of months after that, June, have kind of a reveal trailer actually, and have the product come out in September. That's sort of my thought process. Wishful thinking me says like, oh man, show off this baby at the Nintendo Direct in February and have it come out in May. But you also know the number side of me. I kind of want this thing to come out after mid-July, so it beats Famicom's record of being the longest gap between two Nintendo home consoles, in which as soon as you pass July 12th, that Nintendo Switch lasted longer than Famicom did before Super Famicom came out. But I could see something like maybe February announce that something's coming, folks. Stay tuned. And then June, show it with that trailer. September, come out. Or whenever they do it, it's going to be less than 154 days. Because I don't see them taking longer than what they did with Nintendo Switch, going from here's that October 19th reveal, and here's that March 3rd release date. Because they don't want to cannibalize their sales. It's still selling too well. Even if it drops from 15, 16 million to 10 this year, that's a lot. And they still got software, so why rush it?
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Kind of on like June-ish, maybe.
June-ish for a reveal, right? That's your
June for like that first reveal trailer.
Okay. How about you, Josie?
I'd be happy about it before.
You can say, when do you think it will be revealed, or when do you want to see it revealed? So you can take the question either way.
This is what I think, because I personally, I'm interested, I'm curious, but am I gonna stop playing my Switch? No. So I'm, as long as the software keeps coming, I'm happy. But here's what I think. Because I've noticed since the first, we've been getting constant Nintendo trickle news directly from Nintendo via like Twitter. I'm gonna call it Twitter forever, guys. I'm sorry. Or little leaks here and there. We're seeing the dynamic duo hanging out together. We'll get to that in a minute, y'all.
Yeah.
But no, not a but. So I think that it's just kind of all falling in line. This is Nintendo's world, and we really are just living in it because we're getting these little trickles of information. Still, games coming out. I think they're going to hit us hard with a direct in February. We'll get the financials that same week. We have 2 concerts coming up, orchestra concerts for Zelda and for Splatoon. Side note, side order releases on February 22nd for Splatoon 3, just so y'all know. And I think they're just going to keep bang, bang, bang. And so we're all caught up over here. And then somewhere, can't see my hand, but somewhere.
Like a surprise?
Late March, April.
Okay.
Bam!
Yeah.
And it's just going to be the teaser trailer, very similar to how they did Switch, and we're going to just all be like, ooh, what's this, and how do we know what is it going to do? And then I think we could probably hit around where Paul's thinking. That's when they're going to say, okay, here's the new system, this is what it's called, this is what it does, and here's our launch game or whatever. But I do think the launch game is going to be announced in the February Direct. We just may not know exactly what it is. This is my visual, and I'm sorry, no, we're kind of lingering on this topic, but I have to tell you guys.
You're good.
So I'm thinking, because I thought about how Breath of the Wild was announced, and we all assumed it was just going to be Wii U, and then as things started looking a little bit, not so good for the Wii U, and we knew they were working on the NX and everything. We kept saying, like, what's going to happen with Breath of the Wild? It's going to be dual gen, right? All this other kind of stuff. And that was their launch title for the Switch. So I think with the Direct, it's going to be like coming to Switch, and we hear the click and everything. And then it's going to be that one more thing. But we're not going to hear the click at the end. We're not going to see any kind of logo for Switch at all. And we're not going to be paying attention because we're going to be like, wow, did you see what that big thing was? New Mario, Metroid, whatever it is, surprise Zelda, whatever it is, Pokemon, whatever it is. And we're not even going to be thinking about that. So that's where I need Mike and Paul. I need you guys to pay attention because I won't.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be the one where it's like, where we don't see any logos, we don't see any clicks, we don't see certain things. There's going to be look for what's not there, basically.
That's interesting. How about you, Landon? What do you think?
So I'm gonna touch on that in a second because I agree with you, Joycey. I 100% agree with that. But I've had a couple DMs, and I'm not gonna talk about what they said and specifics and stuff. I want to make sure because I don't want to just talk about leaks and they're not real.
Yeah.
But grouping everything together, it sounds like yes, we're gonna have our February Nintendo Direct, probably around that. I think the week of the 6th is where the orchestras are because they're gonna end the week with something big. The orchestra. Yeah. And it sounds like that the Direct itself isn't going to be massive. It's going to be just clean up for the Switch, more remakes, remasters, maybe a surprise, but and then probably a reveal of some type of for the new console in March is what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking March or April. I think it would be perfect just to I would think Nintendo would just show all the games for that console there because they want to focus on look how good this looks. You're going to be playing this on this console. And I feel like they could, then take the summer to show off all those games again, show more info on that Mario game, show more info on Metroid, that can make a whole show of itself, just talking about the games. That way you already got them revealed earlier in the year. But I do agree that there's a chance I do see, because I don't think, what else does Nintendo have for this Direct? The Switch is pretty much done with everything.
They're basically announcing the Paper Mario Thousand Year Door and the other one, the
Peach.
Luigi's Mansion. Release dates.
That's my point. Yeah, exactly. And it's just we've already seen so much information on these games. They just dropped 16 trailers for every game coming out on Twitter.
So, it's half of the year. It is half of the year. We have 5 games already announced for the year. Another Call Resurrection. We got Mario versus Donkey Kong. Then what's the other one for March? March is Luigi Princess Peach, and then the other two without a date. So yeah, you're right.
Does Thousand Year Door have a date yet?
Not yet.
No.
No,
But
yeah.
there's still a strong studio that, at any time, you don't really know what they're working on. They could pull out of the hat at any time. Also coming out this year is a Star Fox, and then here we have a Punch-Out remake, and then here we have a Duck Hunt 40, also Metroid Prime 2 remastered, and here's the Wind Waker. And all of a sudden, you've got more exclusives coming out to Nintendo Switch than PS5 or Xbox Series X, and a lot of those games would satisfy a big portion of the Nintendo community. And then that's why, even though I do believe that 2024 is the year of Nintendo Switch 2, if what I just announced was reality, you could make the argument like, yeah, March 2025, Nintendo Switch 2, it could work. It's not like it's going to struggle throughout the holidays. They have unused IP that they could. Brand new Donkey Kong also coming. Like, that would make most people happy with what I said that came out. Here's an Eternal Darkness as well. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I think it definitely comes down to that. Yeah, the Donkey Kong thing was on my mind because I was like, if they were to reveal one more thing for the Switch, like one big title to get people excited, I think that's it. Because like, what else is it time for? Donkey Kong has to be the last one. It's been since, was it 2014 on the Wii U? So I'm like,
it's been a while.
Yeah, and I was like, it's either that or like Joycey said, you could just end the show. Boom, here's that Mario game, but it doesn't tell you what it's coming out on because they normally don't start it off like that. You have the announcer come on the stage and says, stay tuned for one last thing. He doesn't say like, this is Switch game coming, or one last thing. There's your trailer. People are excited about it. I mean, you don't even have to tell people it's coming to the next console, and we're gonna assume it. This is holiday season, and they could do that. So,
and it'll be a teaser. And I'm sorry, Paul.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and it'll be like a little teaser, and we're all just gonna be hyped over that one teaser. And because I'm thinking again back to what they did with Breath of the Wild, and I remember when we got the best trailer of all time. Argue with somebody else. Best trailer of all time when they actually did the full specs and showed what the Switch was and what it did and everything. And we got the best trailer of all time. I still go back and watch the trailer. It gives me chills. And then at the very, very end, there's like that pause, and then it gives the release date. Tears. And I could see them giving us a little teaser. New Mario, Donkey Kong, Metroid, whatever, because they're not going to kick it off with another Zelda, guys. I love Zelda, but they're not going to do that again. We've had 2 huge Zelda games already. We're not getting anything for a while, and I'm fine with that. But whatever's going to get everybody up and excited, and then I can see when they do the full specs reveal, that's when they're going to announce, okay, here's that new game that we told you about back in February. It's coming to this system, and it's coming out maybe later this year.
Yeah. Yes or no question really quickly. Nintendo Switch 2 exclusives, dual gen. Exclusive, dual gen.
Wait, say it again.
Exclusives, like games, like the games that come out, like the first, starting from the first game that comes out on Nintendo Switch 2. Exclusive Switch 2 or dual gen starting off?
It depends. If it's Metroid, dual gen.
Metroid, obviously they already announced it for the Switch, so that one doesn't count.
Exactly. But I think they're AAA IPs. I think they're all going to be exclusive to Switch 2.
Like the brand new open world Mario that comes out, that's going to be exclusive.
However, I do think that there's going to be backwards compatibility. Just because it would just not make sense not to, because the Switch is such a beast on its own.
Yeah. Compatibility goes for older games coming forward to the Switch too. But when it comes to newer games coming backwards to the Switch,
they're just not going to look a certain way, and they're not going to run a certain way. But they're going to do fine, because there are going to be people who are just kind of like, Switch 2, I don't care. Yeah, I'll just play it on my own Switch. It's fine. There's going to be people like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to say right now, I think Metroid is straight up developed for the new console.
Okay.
I think since they remade it and everything, I think that was their plan initially. I think they wanted to look as best as they can. They want it to be, you already see they got the Avengers working on this game. So I'm like, it's going to be, they wanted to go all in. But I think it's going to be Mario. I think it's going to be strictly new Switch.
Yeah.
They got the Avengers on it.
I just have this vision of like Iron Man and Black
Iron
Panther
Man.
and Shuri just like going at it.
The Hulk smash. Like,
And then Hulk, that's what happened to the first Metroid. That's what happened to the first Metroid 4. Hulk smashed it, and they had to restart production.
I mean, that was his part. That was his part. Just smashing the first part, and then go with the Iron Man so they can kind of repolish it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Part of the games being made forward, if they're slightly less successful franchises that Nintendo is trying to put out there that aren't necessarily required to be graphical showcases, might as well capitalize on the amazing 142 million install base at the time of Nintendo Switch. So if you do want to say, you know what, let's try Punch Out, and let's put Punch Out, whether it's the Wii version of it or a brand new one, it doesn't require too much CPU, GPU processing power to deliver that type of game. So you could probably see your vision on the Nintendo Switch without too many teraflops and overall gigs of RAM to achieve this vision of a new modern Punch-Out. Then it would work in Nintendo's favor, I think, to have it be accessible to the greatest install base possible and have that version simultaneously showing off its prowess on Nintendo Switch too. Whereas something like, Mario, okay, Mario is a system seller. You want to sell new systems. Mario Kart's a system seller. That's going to be exclusive to the new console to really push the boundaries and to show this is what we couldn't do, because Nintendo has this philosophy, and I know personally from people that have spoken to Nintendo, friends over the years from E3s and lots of
your
coverage.
cousin Miyamoto.
Nintendo typically goes into next hardware when they can no longer see their vision on the current hardware they have. That's the motivation that they have to expand. Otherwise, they release Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, and 3. But they have a vision to go more and to go bigger and to have more worlds and more expansion. Now it's time to engineer new hardware, Super NES, to go into Super Mario World. And then 3D happens. And the reason why, Super Mario 64 2 didn't happen, they have more visions and they want more fluidity and more of a bounce factor in Sunshine. So this is kind of a thing that the company has done for quite a while. Sometimes it hasn't made the most sense. That's why F-Zero hasn't had a new game in a long time, unless if we could find a new and different way to play and engagement. We just can't think of anything else. It's like, on some parts, Nintendo, people just want a prettier version of the old thing. But then they say, but our sales don't always represent it. But then you could always say, yeah, but it was also selling on a system that wasn't so successful. So there's always this, but. So there's always some truth on both sides. But I could see that, like, a Punch-Out maybe would be on both. A Metroid, that's either way. All this time
2 and 3 could be on both, and then 4 is only exclusive to Switch 2.
Yeah,
that would be fair.
Yeah.
Since I'm going to buy it regardless,
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind if it's on Nintendo Switch 2, because then I know the thought process, it wasn't held back at all by any kind of hardware limitations to make it work on a base version and then build up. No, it was only built for the up. But I think they should make that game on both, because it's not a guaranteed, it's going to reach the audience. Unless if Nintendo knows they have magic with this title, which I think it's going to be pretty fantastic. Because it just has had a 5-year, 3-month development cycle at this point, and that's monstrous. So I think something is cooking behind the game that is going to be Metroid's Breath of the Wild moment, and not meaning it's going to go from 9 to 30, but like go from 3 to becoming that potential 10 million seller or something. Maybe it's got an online multiplayer component that is the big draw. That it's their teen-rated Splatoon game. That Metroid Prime 4 has this alternate mode that is this online versus mode, or maybe the story mode is just immaculate. But I think it's got some other kind of hook beyond just it's a fantastic Metroid game, because fantastic prior Metroid games have never sold past that 3 million. Anyway, that was a long thing to answer kind of one general question. A smaller game, like maybe a future, a Mario Party, maybe a Mario Party is one of those games that comes out on both for a little while to come, because it doesn't need all of the processing power to envision their next thought. Eventually they'll stop and they'll taper off because they'll want people to like, well, no, you need a Nintendo Switch 2 because it only plays blank, right?
I have a question, Paul.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a question for everybody because y'all know my rememberer ain't don't be remembering all the time. Because I'm also thinking, how could we work a really great, really graphically demanding, power demanding third-party game? How can we introduce that early without mentioning Switch 2? Because I can't remember Nintendo necessarily doing that, because they're always going to launch their own first, as you should. But what would get people more hype than they just run a trailer just saying, oh yeah, this is coming to Nintendo. They don't even say Switch. Coming to Nintendo. Enter in what?
It's impossible. They can't do it. I mean, unless they do it with Metroid 4.
If they have a Nintendo Direct and say something like, you know, coming later this year, Elden Ring on Nintendo platforms, like they're gonna know, like, okay, you could have just said blank. So I think they hold off on when they have their hopefully beautiful 3.5-minute trailer, and it's somebody taking a dock out, but it just looks night and day better with some kind of scrolling L&R wheels or whatever the new deal
and
is.
Colored buttons.
And colored buttons to distinguish it and all this cool stuff. I think in that trailer they show off, here's what the new 3D Mario looks like. Here is, you know, Elden Ring and you know, some kind of third-party port, basically the equivalent of what Nintendo Switch had early on. And then when you have like the proper event, maybe then you could razzle dazzle people with, like, in addition to having the game in the Nintendo Switch version, you know, your character will be able to find Link's iconic tunic, because that kind of thing has happened before, as a way to entice people who've already picked up the game, because it's not going to be new anymore, to pick it up now because, oh, I want to dress up my character as Link. That's pretty neat.
Or just play it on the go.
Or just play it on the go. For some reason, for some people, that might be enough. Although you could say, well, some have been enjoying
have we already entered the Nintendo Direct topic?
No, we're
inadvertently.
Yeah, I think we did. We kind of did.
Dabbled in it.
Let me go out, rewind a little bit, and let me go ahead and give when I think the Switch is gonna be revealed and the release time period, and then I'm gonna go and do a recap of everything we know so far when it comes to features for the Switch, just to hype a little bit before we enter into our next topic. We have Zelda and we have the Direct to talk about. We have Zelda. I want to let Joycey want to talk about a little bit because that's her baby. That's her baby. And I believe Switch 2 will come in the next fiscal year. We'll hear nothing, absolutely nothing at all until the end of March. The end of March, meaning not even March, April. Not April 1st, that's April Fool's Day, but that first week. I think that reveal could happen that first week. I'm gonna just go ahead and say April 7th. All right, I like that name. I like the number 7.
The reveal of the next Switch?
Yeah.
Or the Direct?
No, the reveal of the next Switch. April. For the first
April.
Yeah, the first week of April with a June release date.
Ooh.
Okay, that will put it halfway through the year and give Nintendo enough time to sell, because Nintendo needs to sell, and the way they're gonna sell is through their games. So they have 6 months to promote their games, so showcase whatever, and then we'll have a really good holiday season with a whole bunch of Nintendo Switch 2 sales and a whole bunch of software sales as well. So that'll kind of help out today. I think this year is going to be the year for that. I think in the Direct, we're not going to hear anything related to Nintendo Switch 2 at all whatsoever. I think we're gonna finish up with Nintendo Switch. Remember, Furukawa said that the Switch will be supported with games until March 2025, which is basically this coming fiscal year. Like that'll be the end of games releasing on Switch for the coming fiscal year. So this Nintendo Direct will probably take care of that. It'll give you a lot of remix, a lot of ports to make sure that Nintendo. Because remember, half of the year is already done. half of the year. We have 5 games, and that's almost half of the year. There's one game nobody's talking about, which is Mario versus Sonic Olympics, because we are in Olympic year. Every single Olympic year, we get one of those games, right? We might see that in the next Nintendo Direct, so I'll just put that as my number 6, right? And then Nintendo will kind of finish off 4 more games because they almost never release anything in December. November is like their end date for them, like like a Pokemon remake or something like that. Remember, we have Pokemon Presents also, so that we have to factor into the Nintendo Direct. But April announcement, June reveal day. That's my pick right there. And I think that we could see a price drop in the Nintendo Direct. That's it. Price drop for the Switch, for the current Switch. And that's what I think. Now, when it comes to specs, really quick, I'm gonna go over all the specs and features. This is all rumored, guys. Nothing's confirmed. I just summed up everything into like literally 30 seconds of me talking. So here we have everything we know so far. It's gonna be a similar form factor, just like Nintendo Switch, right? The biggest improvement physically is the 8-inch LCD screen, right? Hopefully LDP, something like that. Whatever.
What was the other one? Transparent LCD.
Transparent, the see-through, like a see-through.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. I forgot it was one of those expos, and I just thought, yeah.
Improved Joy-Cons, or maybe they hopefully change the name because Joy-Cons is damaged. That name is damaged, right? Joy-Con Trip. It goes next to it, right? So they might call it something else. Colored NES buttons, and SNES button. So that's basically what we know so far. Let's see here. 2 versions of the console, digital, physical. Although I don't think we'll see anything like that in the first time. I think we'll see a Nintendo Switch base model, and then 2 years later we'll see a digital version, maybe an OLED version or whatever. But I don't think we'll get 2 consoles this time. Hopefully, that's just my opinion. Features wise, backwards compatibility. Okay, that's basically hinted by Nintendo whenever they talk about NSO. They talk about Nintendo accounts. They talk about save data and all that stuff. NSO accounts, including purchases, save data, and history, moving forward with you, right? These other features are through patents that were discovered. Temporary shared digital games, patent discovered on the channel with up to 4 users. Okay, that's a really cool feature. Let's see here. New mechanic, basically, because Miyamoto said that in that interview where he was talking about developing for new consoles, he likes to develop something new, a new mechanic or a new game. And so that whatever new mechanic that they're talking about. Rewards and achievements, also in another patent that was discovered, rewards and achievements. Video streaming service by Nintendo. So that was another patent that we discovered also. And entertainment hub. So those are the features that basically either have been spoken about or have been covered by patents. And let me tell you something very shocking, guys. A lot of the patents that we discovered on the channel, they haven't even made the news. People are completely not even talking about them. The fact that you can actually share digital games, and there's a patent that says share digital games with up to 4 people temporarily, that's a patent that's on the channel with source, and nobody is covering it. And those are one of the biggest features, that because that will kind of give you a hint on what could happen when you move into the digital age, right? How do we get along with each other? How do we borrow a game? How do we share a game? How do we sell a game in the digital age? Since sadly, that's where we're headed to. You know what I mean? But so far,
do I have to rant about that again?
But no, you don't have to. If you want to, you can. I'm not gonna let it blow. I'm not gonna let you blow up. You have to release it. Let it go.
Buy physical.
Buy physical.
Buy physical. Use cash, and don't let them tell you don't own nothing.
There's also another patent that has controllers that can store data. Okay, controllers that can store data. So, for example, if I have a Joy-Con, okay, the Joy-Con also serves as a storage data. So let's say I have maybe actually the patent was by Nintendo and Pokemon together. So what I'm guessing is you can actually take your Pokemon with you a Joy-Con and or a controller. Go to your friend's house, click, sync in, and you can play with your Joy-Cons. You can play with your Pokemon and take them with you, which is a really cool way of bringing your Pokemon with you, which is kind of, instead of having inserting a game, if your friends have the game you want to play with them, just bring your Joy-Con with you with the storage and your Pokemon already in there. And it's like a Pokédex, right? Like a little Pokemon storage.
You know what? That could actually be interesting. I'm thinking of like almost like an amiibo sort of way.
Yeah,
it's like storing some of your stuff, and like that could work with other games. Could you imagine like Smash Brothers having some type of like customizable thing? Maybe like in the next Smash Brothers, you can customize your own skin for Mario and just like your own specific one. You take your Joy-Con over to your friend's house. It's like, here's my Mario, here's my character.
Yeah.
You just do that with different games. I think that'd be cool.
It's like the Nintendo
you're right.
memory card plot all over again.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in that now.
Yeah.
I really want to see how that, but I want to also see how that would work with like other games too. Like I love Landon's idea. I love your idea about Pokemon because that was the first place my mind went to. But I'm trying to see like how would that work, because also just to see the other side of it, it almost kind of negates the reason for you to take your Switch with you.
Well, man,
if you could just take your Joy-Cons with you, put them in your back pocket and go with that.
Yeah.
I think Nintendo's idea is we want you to take the system with you and go to your friend's house and go hang out with your friends with your system.
But
that doesn't mean.
Yeah, but in case you have a Pokemon game where you can actually play with two players on one big screen, that'd be a good way to get Joy-Con and just sync it with there. And then once you sync it, the system will automatically recognize, this Joy-Con belongs to this person, and this person has these Pokemon or has this character from Smash Bros in there, at this level or whatever. You know what I mean? Things like that could be really cool.
Or even if it just saves like your control. Like I know a lot of times when you go play Smash at someone's house, you got to put in your name, put in like your control scheme. That way, like it's just linked to your name. As soon as you like connect it with their Switch, it just pops up your name, pops up what controls you have for Smash. You're ready to go.
Yeah. There's so many.
I really like that.
Yeah.
And if this Joy-Con could track your steps, then they could incorporate, Nintendogs plus cats, and that's where you could take your steps, which
your Joy-Con
in your pocket, take it on the go, and when you come back, you can play the game, and there's like a little bit of a digital representation.
An update, like the steps you took, the calories you burned.
Bring Street Pass back.
I really like
Street
that.
Pass device. Too big to carry the Nintendo Switch around? Hey, as long as you have a Joy-Con in your pocket, that's good enough.
Right?
I mean,
it's the next fitness.
Cool. The cool thing is, the kind of things that we're talking about, the kind of things that are in the patents, is Nintendo to come up with them, and that's what makes it fun. Like, we're gonna get a good gaming console with the typical conventions that we want out of a Zelda game, puzzles and this and that. But Nintendo does these zany things that are just kind of neat. They shake things up, and some people don't want it, don't need it at all. I'll never go Street Pass. I'll never do any of that. But a lot of us like the little bit of extra. Why not have both if you could successfully manage it?
Consumers like options.
Theme parks, you're tapping NFCs. When you go to a theme park, you're going with your amiibo. This functions as an amiibo. I'm trying to reach for it. These guys, right? The power-up band bracelets. So Nintendo is kind of developing this ecosystem within itself, like they always have, but just going bigger. That things are all connected, and Joy-Cons could be one more.
Yeah, Moto is part of the patent too. So he how he is with fitness and with moving. A little backstory of that: he had a health scare because he used to smoke a lot. So he had a health scare, and he stopped completely. He kind of in his words, he kind of restarted his life, and from then on, he started working out, thinking about fitness, and that's how we thought about Nintendo Switch Sports, Wii Sports, around that time. Wii Sports, because of that, he wanted his kids, he wanted himself to move up and stand up and just do things. And then I see this as his baby, something that he says, okay, put your Joy-Con in your pocket, go take a run, like the Nintendo Switch 2 Sports, go have a run, come back here. All your data, like your calories or how far you went, will be on your Switch, and maybe have that give you points or whatever. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of possibilities with that feature. I'll share the patent with you guys, so you guys can read it, go over it. in our Discord. That way you guys can kind of go over it and then look at it. But yeah, with that said, we have another topic which is very crazy exciting, right? It has to do with Super Nintendo World. Okay. Paul is the only one who has been to the Super Nintendo World. Paul knows he's been in the Magic Kingdom, and so he can tell us his experience and how he felt for the very first time as he entered. So can you tell us about that? What did you feel? Because as a Nintendo fan, playing Super Mario for so long, then literally seeing that game come to life in front of you, you're there in the Magic Kingdom, you're seeing the castle. How did that make you feel?
Fantastic. There's, it's been about 1 year now since I first went, and it was a fantastic experience. Like you said, as a lifetime Nintendo fan, it meant everything. Actually, it was just a little bit over a year. It was January 12th.
Yeah.
And I recorded myself heading down the escalator, and it was real emotions of like choking up as I was about to go. And then like as I walked through the work pipe one more time, I was like, ooh, holding back the adult tears because it was going to happen. And it did. I don't care. I didn't edit it out. Like I kept it in there because Nintendo, I like plenty of properties, Ninja Turtles and X-Men and Star Wars, and I love a lot of things. But Nintendo I hold most dear to my heart. They've been with me the longest through every part of life. That's my family. Those are friends that I've made in the development team. Those characters are the most special ones to me. Like, I will always support, Nintendo products. And walking in there for the first time just felt so good. And, I got to go a couple of months before it opened even, and then later on the red carpet premiere night and media day and all of that stuff. But going there first, dude, I hope you all get to go. I hope everyone in the chat, you all get to go at some point to your closest location, California, Florida, go to Japan, anywhere you could, find if you have the opportunity. It's an amazing experience playing Super Mario games, and you're looking around and it's like, man, this is like Super Mario 64 coming back to being 13-year-old me going in that 3D world for the first time, but now I am there, and the park's aesthetically pleasing. In my video coverage, I noted that it's very handicap accessible for anybody with scooters, for anybody with a wheelchair. There are no steps. Everything's got a flat surface or a textury grip surface or very slight incline. They've got elevator access, so you're not missing out on anything, which I think is fantastic because, in my martial arts and personal training and stuff like that, I've come across a lot of people that are video game fans that look to gaming as that outlet of fun because they might not be able to do something physical, such as a sport, because of a physical limitation. So when I see a park, like I'm thinking about how all people would approach this. Everything's colorful. Everything is music. It smells good when you go to the food. It's just a wonderful place. So the fact that we're getting more with Donkey Kong, the fact that this Eiji Aonuma and Shigeru Miyamoto thing leads the way to suggest that the rumors of Zelda coming true is spectacular. The Pokemon stuff potentially taking over Simpsons. I like the Simpsons IP, but Pokemon would be bigger. It is amazing. Like, bring it on. I have kids myself, so I get to see it through their eyes too. But I'm still a big kid as well, so
yeah.
Go
so that's a good
have
segue.
fun.
Good segue to jump over to the we're talking about Zelda now, right? This experience that Tom, what did I say, Tom? There's a guy named Tom trending on Twitter. Anyway, so Joyce, she's definitely gonna cry when she enters Hyrule for the very first time. Definitely.
Yes. This is a fact.
So don't go with makeup. Just don't bother.
But I don't want to scare the locals, so I have to wear makeup. But I can retouch. It's fine.
And so let me recap. What's happening. Okay, for those of you who don't know, there. I don't even know if we call it a rumor anymore because these two, they're just gonna throw it out of the park. But last week we went over a news where there was a rumor. Okay, and we have so many credible sources here in Orlando covering it, including all the local news is covering it. Okay, so Universal Studios Orlando replacing Pokemon, not Pokemon, the Simpsons ride with the Pokemon ride. Then Zelda in the Lost Continent, right? And then Luigi's Mansion for Epic Universe. That's another reason why they could be there. Miyamoto could be there for Luigi's Mansion. Man, can you imagine Hollywood going to Luigi's Mansion on Halloween? For like a whatever thing they have there. Okay, let me step back. So we have that happening in Super Nintendo World, Florida. I have a couple of friends that do work construction. I'm not gonna mention the name because I don't want to get them in trouble, but they have hinted that a lot of this information is completely accurate, 100% true. Okay, so it's Super Nintendo World. We got Donkey Kong World in the on construction. You can already see the rails installed, and the way they're going to make it so that it feels like you're actually jumping from one part of the rail to the other. Right? You can see the mechanic how they're gonna do it. It's gonna be something crazy. It's gonna be hidden underwater, so you really can't see it. But it's gonna feel like you're actually, oh no, the rail is ending, and you have to jump and go to the other side. That's gonna be crazy. But we have that. We got Pokemon, and we have Zelda. What the Zelda one? A boo-boo happened. A boo-boo happened in the media where a video that was meant for only employees of Universal Studios got out. And in said video, there were two main characters. I think the two most important characters in Nintendo: the creator of Super Mario, Shigeru Miyamoto, and the producer of The Legend of Zelda, Eiji Onuma. In the video, in the construction area for Epic Universe, okay, which is here in Orlando. And I'm like, do we need any more confirmation?
No.
Why the heck is Eiji Onuma traveling to Florida to oversee any construction? He had his hat. They were just staying together like that. I'm like, hello, Joey said it perfectly. He said, do you know that you guys are like Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson?
You're like Michael and Janet. Like, you can't go anywhere together without us thinking something's up.
And so with that just, yeah, it's just confirmed. We're getting The Legend of Zelda now. The question is, they were at Epic Universe, and so Epic Universe is gonna be massive. Like it's the biggest park Universal has ever built. And so within that park, if they actually bring Zelda to that park, that'll be so much better, because it's together with all the other, like with Mario, with Donkey Kong. I don't have words. I really don't have words. All I know,
I do.
Across the street, one day we'll close our eyes, we'll be able to walk into Hyrule. While Joycey talks, I'm going to show you guys some images that I generated along with my friend. I have a special friend. Her name is ChatGPT. And she I call her she. I don't know if it's it. I call her she. She helped me generate some images that give us a hint of I told her to make Death Mountain, and she made these little cones here. I don't know why she did that. This little cones there. And so imagine entering a world, and you see here, Zelda.
Real quick though.
Yeah, go ahead. Too many birds. I know.
For anybody who's seen Coming to America,
yeah, exactly.
That castle looks really, really, or palace looks really, really familiar.
Is it Amunda? The kingdom of
Zamunda.
Zamunda, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was unintentional. I don't know why she did that. And then she had so many birds just everywhere. And so this is supposed to be Death Mountain. I don't know why Death Mountain is right behind the castle. That's just not working out. And then you see here in the back, there's the castle kind of continues into the mountain too. But yeah, this is a little thing. This other image that they generated. Wait, not this one. Share screen. I said, hey, how would if I go to a theme park what would it look like if I go into a theme park and I see like a display dedicated to Link? That's what she made. A display dedicated to Link with the Master Sword right in there in the center.
I was hoping for the Sidon and Link. Never mind.
Yeah, no, I got more images. And for those of you listening to the podcast audio, we're showing images of AI generated images of what it could look like if they actually make a Zelda like little museum type of thing inside, right inside of the theme park. We're showing the picture of the Master Sword, and we have here Link's attire with all of his stuff here and everything. This is Breath of the Wild. I don't know what this is from. You guys will tell me. A little scarf here.
Looks like that's just an outfit that one of the villagers would wear. On the left, that's looks like it was trying to go for Twilight Princess, but didn't totally make it.
Yeah,
it doesn't look bad though.
Yeah, and then the Triforce kind of multiplied a little bit. So it's not even a Triforce; it's bigger. It's bigger than a Triforce now.
Well, right? It's a triangle at least.
Yeah, right.
It's gonna be awesome. I'll tell you that much.
Right. And then, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, just Nintendo at E3 has always gone all out, and the kind of stuff that they develop on their stages is like second to none. In 2004, when I was walking through the Twilight Princess section of Nintendo's booth, you were walking through the dungeon in Twilight Princess, and you saw Wolf Link and the Stalfos Knight, and in 2016 they recreated Hyrule Field and it had castle walls, and in 2012 I think they had the actual Wind Waker boat, the King of Red Lions, that you could hop on top of, and that's what Super Nintendo World has become with Mario. So taking Zelda and having things to see, things to interact with, probably a ride, music going around, stuff to buy, little Master Swords and stuff.
The parades! Do you think we'll get parades?
Oh, for
like
sure.
Disney does?
For sure. You already have them. You already have them.
One thing I could say that they have thought of that I know, I don't think it's been said publicly. It has been looked at into possibly doing a drone-like show at Super Nintendo World. Around the time the Super Mario Bros. Movie came out, they ended up having a drone show at Santa Monica Beach of like a Mario, a Bowser, that kind of thing. So I know that people within Universal Studios Hollywood have considered doing that. When I went to the red carpet night, they had a full-on firework display, and it was marvelous. I would love to have that be a part of Super Nintendo World regularly, but I only got to experience it once, and I don't think they're going to do it again unless if it's for a special event, because that was the opening. But a drone show, if they do, would be kind of cool. But I'm with Joycey. I think you want a firework display on Zelda, and I would love to have oh man, with
my
some
heart
thing going on and like that. Woo! I'd pay extra. Give me that.
Paul.
Oh.
Okay, well, all of you, but Paul, did you see what was it? I think it was New Year's. Was it in China where they got all the drones together and different lights, and they were able to make the dragon, or was their New Year, or make the dragon and everything? I think it was their New Year. Well, it was around New Year's when we saw it. But they could do the same thing for Zelda, and then have the light dragon just circling the park.
The beautiful, iconic Ocarina of Time, Nairu, Furor, and Din.
And then,
the three goddesses flying, got the red, the green, and the blue, and the Triforce with the lights around it. Like, you could recreate that with some sweet-looking things. Oh my gosh, the possibilities are freaking endless. It's amazing.
So and Nintendo, they are insane with their ideas. If they could do, because I know what you were trying to say, if they could do that with just a limited E3 stage, what could they do with the whole park?
You're hitting the Mars, guys, because basically when it comes to the Zelda park, there's three games that they have in mind. One of them is Ocarina of Time. The other one is Wind Waker. Wait, no, there's more games. There's 4 games. There's Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and Breath of the Wild. So the rumor continues to say that those 4 games are going to be heavily influenced in the park when it comes to rides, shows, whatever they do in the park. Those are going to be the games they're going to focus on for basically the theme park.
No Skyward Sword.
Skyward Sword. But
the sword's going to be there now. You know that it's at least going to be. The question is, can it take us back in time?
Maybe.
And then they'll get sued because people start magically disappearing.
Yeah. And maybe there's a ride that literally takes you through the entire history of the Legend of Zelda, or 3 rides. It takes you three timelines. Like
I don't know how people would like that. I'm thinking about how the general public would like that.
Yeah, but
we would love it.
It's educational, so it's kind of teaches them, right?
You know how Universal Studios Hollywood, I don't know if any of you have been there or something equivalent, but the Waterworld show or Six Flags Magic Mountain, for instance, used to have a Batman live action show.
Yeah,
I would love to see, Link and Ganondorf, that's it! And stuff like that. And Link, look out! Boom! And like, oh, dang!
Since Link is technically the player, audience plays, live action Legend of Zelda or whatever, and we have to tell Link what to do. It's like, no, get the key, go left, use the hook shot. We wouldn't be on the same page, so it'd be a mess. But Mike, what did you want me to say about it? You wanted me to say something about it.
I wanted you to express yourself when it comes to everything you've been doing.
You guys kind of already said it for me. Like
what I did was recap the news, and I wanted you to kind of
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I think everybody has great ideas, but the beauty about Nintendo is they truly can outcreate us on this stuff. I think I will say, I don't know if I'm sure one of them had to thought about it, but I would love the idea of having the dragons, in those drone lights going around the park, maybe not at certain times of the day or whatever, just like in the game, and you have to kind of guess when it's going to show up, one's going to show up. But my favorite idea in my head, and I'm not even 100% sure if this is even they can even engineer something like this. I don't know if it's safe or anything, but since Zelda's known for their dungeons, okay?
Yeah.
So I would like to have an entire area that's a dungeon. It'll be I'm not sure how they're doing it, but I'm the best I can compare it to is Disney, because what Disney does is they'll take one of their IPs. We'll take Pirates of the Caribbean, Space Mountain. There's several of them, but going through the line is its own experience. You see all these different things that have to do with the movie or the story they're trying to tell. Universal Studios has the Tower of Terror. The original Twilight Zone is one of my most favorite shows of all time. It's even before my time, and it takes you through an old rickety, hotel, and it tells you the story of a Twilight Zone. It's not a real episode, but Rod Serling back in the day actually wrote it for Disney, and they still use the same plot and everything. So it's an entire experience. So I can imagine going through a dungeon while we're waiting in line, because the lines are going to be crazy, and maybe you get the feeling of you're opening a chest as you go into a new section, or you're going through, the doors go up, like you've opened it with a key or something. But the ride is one of my most I think it's still my most favorite dungeon from Twilight Princess was Arbiter's Grounds. You haven't gotten there yet, Mike, so I'm not going to tell you in Twilight Princess you haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah. So
I'm not going to tell you exactly what happens, but those who played, y'all know who the boss is.
Remake. I want to play HD in HD. Well, there's already on Wii U, but
there's already a HD.
I'm too lazy to turn it on.
Well, the point is that I don't know how they would do this, but the item that you get in that particular dungeon is the spinner. Most underutilized weapon in all of Zelda history. Argue with me if you want to. And the way the spinner works, it could go on these rails. It's almost like I guess like it's like skating on the wall, I guess. You can go on these rails and you spin around, you know, and you actually use it to defeat the boss of that dungeon. So I wonder how they could engineer that so you feel like you're on a spinner and you're beating the boss at the same time. That would be pretty wicked awesome.
You said something. You said something, Joycey. That
I can still hear you, but I got to go change my headset. I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
But I can still hear you. I'm still listening.
Okay. So you said something that made me almost convinced that they're gonna use the Lost Continent, because in the Lost Continent there are dungeons.
Ooh.
There is a ride, or it's a ride. It's a show that you go through an area and actually explains to you. It gives you like a historic background of the area, and then you enter this dungeon, and all the doors close with just like suddenly, and you're trapped inside this kind of big giant dungeon, and then you have to solve some kind of puzzles in order to get out of it. And they have about 4 to 5 rooms just like that, and then you go into a boss battle later on at the end.
So that sounds like an escape room.
It's technically like a dungeon, right? Like a Legend of Zelda dungeon. They could just repurpose it and make it more Zelda themed, right? But there is already a dungeon one, and if you look up the Lost Continent dungeon or Poseidon's Fury, that's what you look up. The Lost Continent, Poseidon's Fury. That's the name of the ride, and everybody records it. It's all over the internet now. It's all on YouTube. Just look up Lost Continent, Poseidon's Fury. You're gonna see how they enter the place, the waterfalls falling on the side like that and everything. You're entering this cave, and then you go into the dungeon. So it's called Poseidon's Fury, the ride. But yeah, I completely totally see it, because I went to that ride, and the first thing I thought about was that. I thought about 2 things. I thought about Zelda, and I also thought about this movie I just recently watched. National Treasure from Nicolas Cage. I had just recently
I love that movie,
and this is cool for that, for that. But yeah. So just to add to your thing there, I think that's a big possibility to add a dungeon to it.
Landon, what do you think?
I just need one thing.
One thing.
I want to go onto like this high sky island, and I want to skydive into it. And just land into the Zelda portion. That's what I want to do.
They can make that happen. They already have something like that at Six Flags.
That's all I want. Then I want like a little a light dragon just kind of moving around the sky beside me as I'm falling. And then we're good.
How about those Tears of the Kingdom towers where there's a platform?
They have those skydiving simulated tubes that you can.
The great thing is one. It has to be there.
And actually, there is one in City Walk at Universal Studios Hollywood right before you go in. So Universal already kind of has that as part of their setup, kind of. So you just throw one of those in the Zelda portion of the park and allow people to go with probably a guided instructor to free fall and have the music. Ba, 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 da, ba. It could be done.
I'd be fine with just the castle, honestly. I mean, just being able to walk through a whole like Hyrule Castle would be pretty cool. But I just like when you brought it up, Mike, I didn't even know this. I like was looking it up. And I was like, I didn't even hear the Luigi's Mansion thing. I am pumped.
Yeah.
To be able to like have like a little like. I hope that they like set it up like the original, like just the actual like original mansion. You can go through to see the rooms and like a portrait ghost based on that room, kind of like on the walls or something. That would be oh my gosh,
it's so cool.
Or like the other thing is, I think that would be cool because I always think. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Oh, okay, good. Because this headset is I don't know. Anyway, but one of the things I think would also be cool when we went to Disney last year, and I think we went to Universal. Is that where the Harry Potter?
Yeah, Universal.
Harry Potter.
California.
Excuse me. No, we went to Florida.
Okay. Both. Yeah.
If I was in California, I'd hit you up, Paul. You my other cousin. But the Harry Potter ride, and I'm not a Harry Potter fan at all. No offense to anybody who is. It's not my thing. Did I say it again?
It said Harry Potter.
I'm not trying to be shady. When I'm trying to be shady, y'all will know. Harry Potter.
I think it's a good like something for kids who like Harry Potter. We need to potty train Harry Potty.
Not a bad idea. But seriously, but the Harry Potter ride was, like I said, the line was an experience, and they had because it's all with magic and everything. They had all these paintings that would move and would talk to you, and give you little snippets of story and things like that. I think, and I love the animatronics and the AI that Disney uses and Universal as well. And I think it would be cool to have Impa as what's it called? As like an animatronic or something like that, telling the history of Hyrule. I would love that. I'd be sitting up there like with one of them kids, just sitting there with popcorn and all kind of buttons and merchandise on. Like,
listen, would you leave your job, Joyce, to work at Universal Studios for Hyrule?
Say it again.
Would you leave your job if they offered you a job at Universal Studios in Hyrule?
If they can pay me double what I'm making now, and that's pretty much impossible.
You get free access to the park.
Yeah, but
every day.
I got bills, man, and I'm buying a new car eventually.
You can live in the castle.
No, what they'll do is they'll just be like, there's this crazy lady who just lives here now. Just ignore her. She doesn't hurt anybody. And see what I'll do is I'll just be working my regular job from Hyrule Castle. Then when I get off work, I'll just be there. And I'll let you guys in for free though.
That works.
Crazy. The crazy cat lady let us in for free.
Twilight Princess did have cats that you could pick up. Yeah. And play, and there was a dog in Castletown that you could play fetch with. So I could be the crazy cat lady of Hyrule. Just saying.
This is funny. It's hilarious.
I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
I know that it appears that sometimes Nintendo's behind everybody. They're behind in graphics. They're behind in this. They're behind in that. I feel like
schedule.
I feel like Nintendo is crazy, slow like a fox, crazy like a fox, because I see these little things that are just creeping up. It's like, oh, we got a movie now. Oh, and a really good one. Okay. Oh, they're doing more movies. Okay. Oh, we're doing stuff with theme parks, and of course, they're still releasing games and everything else. And I'm just wondering. It'll be several years, but I'm wondering when we're the real old heads, the real great grandparents and great aunties and everything. I wonder if we're going to see start really seeing where Nintendo starts becoming similar to Disney, because Disney basically kind of owns that part of Florida. You know what I mean? It's its own everything. It has its own. Transportation.
Yeah. It's actually they renamed it to Disney Florida.
Well, there you go. See, there you go. They have their own transportation.
So they tried to have their own government, but it didn't work out so much for them.
That's a whole other subject. Don't get me started on that. But seriously, they have their own everything. You can get everything you need in Disney. You don't have to leave anywhere of the area.
There's a hospital. There's a supermarket. There's literally everything in there.
Everything. There's fast food. There's restaurants. You don't have to leave that area.
It has its own police.
It does.
Police, like its own police.
And legally, you actually can't die on Disney World grounds.
You can't die, so you live forever.
No, if something happens and you pass away, they can't pronounce you deceased until you have been taken off of the grounds.
And then you die afterwards.
So it could be 6 hours later, and then
I'll just stay in there like a ghost.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting. I actually had to look that one up because I thought somebody was trolling me. No, I found that out. That was true. But seriously, I could see that becoming Nintendo. Wouldn't you want to go to Nintendo Land, Super Nintendo Land, and we'll all be like in our 80s or whatever, and we'll all go meet up, and I'll stay in the Zelda room. Paul will be across with his grandkids or something, staying in the Metroid room. You and Landon will be hanging out with your families in the Mario suites and everything. I could see that working. We stayed at the Dalmatians hotel when I went to Disney. 101 Dalmatians. I think I love that movie back in the day. So I could just see all of that working, and I'm just wondering if we're, several years down the line, if we're going to see this huge ecosystem of Nintendo. You know what I mean? So I think that'd be cool, and it could actually rival Disney.
That's where we're headed. That's where we're headed now. And believe it or not, right now, Universal is the number one theme park in Orlando. Disney is losing money left and right. They're down a roller coaster, and they're not going up anytime soon.
We're just mad at Disney right now. We'll get over it in a few years.
Yeah, but when it comes to the theme park, Universal is actually the number one theme park right now. And that's at this moment when it comes to revenue and everything. It's a much smaller park, and that's why they're expanding and making Epic Universe. Once they build Epic Universe, then both parks will be as big, because what they're doing is what Universal is doing is that the Universal Epic Universe is about 15 miles or 15 to 20 miles away from Universal Studios. Okay, from the actual park, but all that will eventually be considered part of Universal Studios resort. And so they're building and building and building and building. And so with Nintendo, once Universal secured Nintendo to be their mascots in the park, I said game over. Game over, because it's Nintendo IPs. They have Zelda. They have look at that, some fireworks. I guess we're celebrating. Anyway, the other rumor that I didn't go over because I didn't want to cover it because it's not confirmed yet. But they were talking about a Kirby water park, and there's so much potential with every IP to do something different everywhere around the park with Nintendo. And so, I mean, Nintendo is...
We're going to have paintball.
Splatoon.
It's going to be called Splatoon.
Splatoon in real life. You imagine that?
Yes.
Splatoon in real life. You went to this big building, and then you have to wear like whatever, you wear something, and you have your splat gun, and you just kind of splat each other. That's crazy. That would be awesome.
It already works with paintball. Of course, Nintendo's going to make it safer because, of course, the kids are going to want it. But I want to get in there with like you guys and a bunch of grown people and just go ham.
It could be that, or it could actually be...
I want to come out sore.
Actually, an actual shooting ride too.
See, what would make a good Metroid? I think Metroid would work as a really good roller coaster,
like a Terminator type of ride, shooting Metroid.
But I mean, like I think it would make a better roller coaster because, well, because I guess because what comes to mind when I think of Samus is her rolling in her little ball.
Oh yeah.
To get to certain places,
and I was coaster.
What's it?
Roller coaster.
See, Paul Whitney. That's why we cousins, Paul Whitney. So I think that. But I also think about space. I also think about Space Mountain, and because Space Mountain is only like it's really narrow. It looks like a canoe. It's only like 2 or 3 people. I think it's 3 people, and then so several cars can go at once, right? Mm-hmm. So you just see all these lights going by because it's in a dome and it's dark for those who don't know, and you just see all these lights going by. And I said something like that could work for Metroid. And then you have like Emmys just like hanging from the ceiling as you whiz by.
Floating Metroid.
Yeah, somebody said Nintendo needs to hire me, and you are absolutely right.
That could work.
And don't forget, we didn't touch on it earlier, but Singapore is getting its own Super Nintendo World next year.
Yeah. Yep.
So now we got to go to Singapore.
I have to find a way how to get us 4. Well, not Paul. Paul's right there. Us 3. With all our family members to a Super Nintendo World. Maybe we'll stay over at Paul's house. We'll just crash at Paul's.
Yeah, Paul. We'll just stay at Paul's house.
And then we'll podcast from Super Nintendo World. I actually have a connection with Super Nintendo World in Hollywood because they remember Paul when before they opened, they actually invited me. I was supposed to be there February 17th.
Yeah,
and
because.
I could have met Paul in person at Super Nintendo World, but I couldn't make it. I don't remember what happened. I got sick or something happened.
I forgot.
But they invited me over to as media to Super Nintendo World, and before it opened, I'm like, man, couldn't make it. But I still have that connection, so I can talk to them.
If you could do the Florida one, that should be.
Oh, well, it's gonna be yeah.
Like. because that's going to open up with Mario Kart, followed by shortly after Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
My friend who made the architectural designs for the rocks and lava and different things at Super Nintendo World Hollywood has currently been, for X amount of time, creating the bananas for Donkey Kong Country.
Wow, awesome.
The two other Universal parks. So
and
that's all the 3D modeling and sculpting and stuff like that goes into before they print it out.
And they already start construction over at Hollywood for Donkey Kong Land also?
No.
Yeah.
No, but the supposed concept is one of the studio lots behind Super Nintendo World currently is going to be torn down, and that's where it's going to be. Because there's not a whole lot of space there, unless if you go into the golf course, but I don't think they're going to do that. Or if they tear down like Mummy, which probably not.
No, I can't do that.
You also have Transformers right in between. So you've got like Mummy, Transformers, and Super Nintendo World, and then this backlot. And they have a lot of backlots, but they keep making money there because a lot of studios, do music stuff, concert stuff, things like The Voice and American Idol and whatever, and like filming things. So if this one lot, though, which I believe is the one that they're turning down, according to one individual friend that told me, generates less, so they could move it over there and dissipate it through outside studios instead, that'll probably generate more money. It's all about what's the best option for the space you've got. And then also, like you said, or I think we touched on earlier, the Simpsons part, which is up above. Super Nintendo World in Hollywood is staggered. It's like 3 levels almost. Simpsons turning into Pokemon possibly.
Yeah. So we'll make it the Orlando park then, because hopefully by then Donkey Kong will be done. Hopefully.
We've got to go to one.
Yeah. So Landon, Paul, Gail, Joycey, I'll try to hook you guys up.
Wait, I got one more idea.
Go ahead.
Okay, wait. Y'all know how at the end of Ocarina of Time, you gotta. Well, part of the ending sequence is you have to get out of the castle before it collapses.
Mm-hmm.
That would make a good roller coaster.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You gotta think bigger than like Six Flags, because these kind of people could make that, just like the Disney. They're called Imagineers. They're not engineers. They're Imagineers.
Oh, that's in this
and so all of this debris is falling as you're like racing through the castle.
Yeah. There is a roller coaster that you actually use 3D headset with. Also, it's inside a building, but you use a 3D headset, and so you're in the roller coaster. You're going through it, but you also see what's happening all around you, like crazy. So that could be like a mixture of mixed reality. That could be.
See, I'm different. See, I want wind in my hair. I want to scream my head off. I'm a coaster girl.
Yeah, no, you'll have one in your hair because it's a real coaster, like an actual roller coaster. But you also have
okay.
Yeah, so it's a combination of both. So if you look at the side, you'll actually see somebody flying next to you, or debris or falling, and they'll shoot stuff at you and everything. Yeah, I think Universal has a ride like that. I can't remember what.
But it's an actual roller coaster. You're actually on a train. I feel like that would be heck on the senses.
No, it's an actual roller coaster.
I would like Starbucks. Give me a Starbucks.
I feel like that would really hurt your senses, though.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't know.
Have you been on the Mummy? Mummy Returns? That's an indoor roller coaster that takes you backwards like that.
Indoor roller coaster, it goes boom, and then it goes back as you're retreating from the Mummy.
I worked Halloween Horror Nights, okay, and I was okay. Look at my face. I had to be one of the. I had to be one of the people from Egypt, like. Oh, I'm, So I worked at the Mummy, and literally every single night we had to ride the roller coaster. We had to ride it because it's a security check. We ride it to make sure everything is there. We kind of check it, and so riding that thing every single day, like, oh my god,
you have to ride a roller coaster as a security check. Maybe I do want this job.
Yeah, you do. You go through the ride. You go through the ride once. Yeah. So
make sure nothing. You didn't steal anything, so nothing falls.
No, nothing comes out.
I don't know.
Anyway, we got about 7 minutes left in the podcast, so let's go ahead and segue really quick and talk about the Nintendo Direct really fast. It is right now January 26th. As of today, let me go get the calendar. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 1. I forgot how to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We could be literally 12 days away from the Nintendo Direct. I put that on the 7th, right? The week of the 7th also is the concert, right? On the 8th, we have the Zelda concert, and then on the Friday, we have the Platoon concert. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yep.
I think so. They're one after the other. I know that.
Yeah, or maybe it's that one is a Friday, one's a Saturday.
Yeah, I think it's Friday, Saturday. Last time I saw it. Let me see.
Okay. Yeah, so Wednesday, I would say maybe Thursday. Then maybe that Thursday could be the Direct. Because I
think it would be Wednesday.
Yeah, normally they're Wednesdays, but maybe they want to do like a 3-day thing. But let's say it's the Wednesday, which is the 7th. Okay.
Oof. So soon.
Your top pick, and then your top picks. How do you see it going? What games do you see potentially be there for Nintendo to kind of finish off the year? And what will give you? What about the Direct can hint at Switch 2 without saying Switch 2 at all?
The hint, I think, is if they show off any other games, and all of the games have red for A, B is yellow, green is Y, and X is blue. If all the games shown off have in their respective trailers that, I think that is the hint that these games are going to be backwards compatible or playable in some way on Nintendo Switch 2, because how come all generation long they didn't do this, and now all of a sudden they are? If it just happens to be in Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door remake, then it's like, coincidental that they brought back the iconic colors of the Super Famicom and Super Nintendo in, non-US territories. Otherwise, I would love it if they punked me by starting off with Metroid Prime 2 remastered, had their whole show, and ended with one more thing, Metroid Prime 4. That would be the coolest thing, because you set the fans up thinking it's Metroid Prime 4. No, but it was something cool, but not what I wanted, but cool. And then the whole rest of the show is like, okay, cool. And then like the one more thing is that. Like that's just the most awesome thing. Like a roller coaster, you want to have dips and valleys. You can't have someone screaming the whole time or they'll burn out. So you have to have little dips. And then that would be the coolest way for me. Other than that, I'm honestly, they're never bad. Growing up, some of the audience might be a little bit younger. Growing up, late 80s, early 90s, our source of news and entertainment was once a month. You got a Nintendo Power or an Electronic Gaming Monthly magazine or Game Pro or something like that from the newsstand or in the mail. These days, we get stuff all the time. So we're bombarded. We have it so lucky these days. We have Twitter drop, Facebook, YouTube constantly. So there has never been a bad Nintendo Direct. It's just less good, but good, and sometimes amazing. Our video coverage back in the day was once a year you got a VHS tape from Nintendo Power. They gave you a 12-minute look at Star Fox. So these days, you got it so much better. So I appreciate whatever they show because it's all cool. So I won't be disappointed regardless. But like Metroid Prime 4 would really do it for me. A new 3D Donkey Kong or a new Donkey Kong, even if it's 2D, would also completely satisfy my entire 2024. Like, I'm happy. I'm happy. I guess that's the answer, Mike. Metroid Prime 4 for me would be top.
What about you, Landon?
I think a good indicator based on the Switch 2, it'd be just straight up based on the content that's coming and like when it drops. For instance, if they're like not saying anything past August, I think that's a good sign that something's coming at the end of the year. I'm expecting them to keep it very much like more remakes, remasters, just getting anything else that they can possibly get out. I think I agree with Paul where I think I can see them starting the show with like Prime 2 and maybe even ending the show on it may be another remaster or something that people have been waiting for like they did with Paper Mario. Maybe something like that rumored of that Ocarina of Time remake, something along those lines, something like a big remake or a big remaster to get people like, oh, okay, like that's exciting. That's enough to hold me over until that new console.
I mean, Ocarina of Time remake, that's enough to hold me over until 2025.
Wait, what was that?
I mean, that's enough to hold me over to 2025. Ocarina of Time remake.
Hey,
I got comments on that too.
I'm just I mean, at this point, I'm trying to think of any other like big remake that could be like an end of the show thing. And to me, there's not much else that would be like below. I know a lot of people want like Xenoblade X as like the last Wii U game that they've been asking for.
Yeah.
And then like I think anything new would be Donkey Kong, and that's it. I don't think Prime 4 we're still not going to see it until whenever this new console is going to be. I'm telling you, I'm just so against Prime 4 right now because it's making me mad. So I'm tired of predicting the thing. I'm just like, look, it's not coming until they show this new console.
It's an urban myth.
Yeah,
like, it can't be real. It's not real. It's not a thing.
It never happened. They just kind of made it up at the point. Was it April Fool when they first announced it? It was that big trailer. Was it April 1st?
Oh yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was.
What? I think it was.
Okay.
It was April 1st when they showed the trailer, the Metro Prime 4 in development.
The first time they said it was coming out was E3 2017, and then the announcement of the public restructuring of the game was like January 20th.
Okay,
yeah, January 25th.
It wasn't April Fool's, right? So I guess it's coming then. I guess it's to me, it's just a ploy to hire developers. Come work for Retro Studios. You'll work on Metro Prime 4. It's the same voice they use it too. And
I got some ideas.
Go ahead for you, Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
Take it away, Jesse.
So this is because I agree with Paul. I don't really think that any Nintendo Direct has been bad. I know everybody. What was it the year before last where we were talking about the farming simulators, and everybody was like, "Oh, it was all farming." Well, those games need to be announced.
Farming simulators were banging.
So it is what it is. But to me, ideally, we start off with, "Oh my God, it's Metro Prime 2," but still cool. And then we have some other games. We have a couple remakes that we already know are coming. And then we get another Metroid 3. Okay, remake. Cool. And then we go for the rest of the show. More ports, anything 3D remakes. And then we get the Ocarina of Time 3D remake. And everybody's like, ooh, and I'll just start crying because Zelda. And I only want, but personally, I think Ocarina of Time is its own thing. Let's preserve it as is. Let's keep putting it on NSO going forward. But if they're going to do a remake that's really, really, I'm going to cry because it's Zelda, but if they really want me to play it again, I really want them to, because in my opinion, it's a great game. I don't really need anything more. So I don't know if they would do this because it's it's that game, you know what I mean? It changed the industry. So, but I'm kind of like, change the graphics, add some more lore, put in a couple extra, just a little bit, because we don't want to lose the soul of the game.
Yeah,
we don't want to do that. But just a little bit of extra things and changing the graphics up, but still keeping the soul of it.
Yeah. So basically, Final Fantasy, right? Final Fantasy, take the game, do like Final Fantasy, right? They took Final Fantasy and they stretched it out. They kind of kept the same exact game, right? And they kind of filled the gaps. Maybe there was like little plot holes that they had to fill up to make the game a little longer, and they gave it, so I mean, they can do that.
And then of course, that's not the one last thing. Y'all thought I was done. That ain't the one last thing, but we're all thinking it's the one last thing. But the last few directs have actually ended with Zelda, and I'm a Zelda fan. Paul's a Zelda fan. You guys are all Zelda fans. We're okay with that. But from a business standpoint, I don't recommend that. Again, especially since it's not a brand new game. It's a brand new remake of the game. So that's when they do before you go, one more thing. And that's when we see, wait a minute. We already have Metroid 1 last year. And then they told us about 2 and 3. What's this? And then Samus just comes on screen and just says, "See you soon." Fade to black.
Wait,
crowd goes wild.
She likes to look at the screen and say, "See you soon."
She doesn't talk like that. But yeah, but it'll probably be subtitle. But it just mentioning that we know we've taken a while. We know we've given you no updates. Do you have any idea how? Think of our friend. Think of friend to the channel, Andres Restart.
Mm-hmm.
His head will probably explode. In fact, Mike, I might need you to go over there and check on him if that happens. His head will literally explode, and we'll have to go get him revived. And
Nintendo has literally let him down the past 2-3 directs since Metroid Prime Remaster was announced. And then the following.
And he's not the only one.
Yeah, a lot of people.
So I think that would make a banger of a direct, because we still get the other Metroid ports out there. They can make money off of that, and we still don't know when. They still won't tell us when Metroid Prime 4 is coming out. They still won't tell us, but the fact that we got a little update, we got a little teaser, we got a little bit of acknowledgement from the main character, just saying, "Hey, I know it's been a while, but I'm coming to see you." And then we still get our Zelda remake, and then we get all of our other Luigi's Mansions, Thousand Year Door, more Princess Peach info. We get all of that. That's a wow! I just think I just made a really great direct in my head.
Yeah, it's like a future right there.
Y'all want to come to my direct instead?
I'm just gonna read. I'm just gonna read real quick here because we're past the time. But I'm gonna read what I predicted here on Twitter. I have the list, and I'm just gonna read through it one time, and then you guys let me know what you think. I'm looking for it here. Let me see here. Come on, Twitter. Twitter's acting up. All right, so I'm on Twitter, or I'm sorry, X.
No, it's Twitter. Mama named it Twitter. I'm calling it Twitter.
You gotta call it Twix, like Twitter and X. Twix.
That's candy.
Candy.
Ooh, that sounds good. Twix.
I want a Twix.
It's a candy bar.
It is a candy bar. All right. So so I have here my thing here. All right. So Luigi's Mansion release date, right? They'll go ahead and say it's gonna be in summer. So I will just say June. Okay. Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. They'll put it around May. Metroid 2 and 3 HD dual pack. Metroid Prime teaser at the end. Donkey Kong new game a la Mario Wonder with new art style, because of I'm thinking the theme park is around the corner. They take Mario Wonder and they give us this facelift, beautiful facelift, beautiful game. I'm thinking they're gonna do the same thing with Donkey Kong, since Donkey Kong is also part of the Nintendo Cinematic Universe, and so I think that eventually there'll be a game where Donkey Kong also has a facelift, because he has a new look for the movie too. Zelda Wind Waker Twilight Princess dual pack. It's a fan favorite. Been wanting that for a while. I would say the first game for Call of Duty, Wii port, since the 10-year technically already begun with the Switch. Then a port from the Wii U Call of Duty makes it to the Nintendo Switch. I don't know why I put Mario Galaxy 2 there. I just did it. It's Mario's 40th anniversary.
Why not?
Mario's 40th anniversary. I'm still hoping for another All-Stars, a little better one. And Hollow Knight Silk Song finally makes it, right? And a whole bunch of other stuff, right?
That's another urban myth.
It's pretty big.
There's two things that will hint for me Switch 2. One is Landon hit it right in the mark where everything is very light on games and a whole bunch of third party games. Maybe they'll give us release date and maybe 2 more games, and that's it. And then a whole bunch of third party games, because third parties will come even after the Switch's life cycle, because Switch will still be around. And then the other thing is a hint that we'll see the Switch in 2025 is if they add GameCube to NSO. Because GameCube is a big console. If it's on NSO, those releases can, there's so many games could be launched on GameCube. Mario Kart, Double Dash. We have Animal Crossing, the very first Animal Crossing. There's so many games that could be added that are not going to be ported to the Switch at HDified. And so I think that will extend the life of the Switch until they release it. Although I believe wholeheartedly it's 2024. That can kind of hint that they're when they want to kind of give us a lot in the year, and so maybe that they announce it late and then release it next year. Although I don't believe that myself. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's the whole kit and caboodle and stuff. All right. So, any last words, guys, on any topic discussed over today? We discussed the Legend of Zelda theme park coming over to our parks, right? Live action. We discussed I forgot what we discussed. Oh, the Nintendo Switch 2 rumor with the LCD screen and stuff like that. And then we ended up with Nintendo Direct. Right? It was a pretty good show. What do you guys think?
A lot of fun.
Very good.
Right? I want to send Landon back to his wife, Paul Gale back to his family, and Josie back to her boyfriend, so you guys can spend some quality time.
Good, because he'll be home in a few minutes.
It is Friday night, guys. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful night. Spend time with your loved ones, your family and friends. Never, never, ever go to bed upset. If not, I'll be upset at you. But make sure that you.
And then Mike can't go to bed.
Yeah, make sure you say I love you to your loved one every time before you go to bed. Okay, don't never take it for granted because you never know. All right, it's important. Right? Forgive, forget, love, and move on. All right, and then there's only 2 words that we have left before we let you go. Landon, what do you have going on this week? Tell where we can find you and what you have going on.
You can find me at Nintendo Land on Twitter and on YouTube. As far as this week, I'm just riding the hype wave of the Switch and getting ready for the Switch 2, that is. Getting ready for the Nintendo Direct, just kind of getting everybody hyped. It's just kind of quiet right now. It feels like the quiet before the storm. So this is the time to get everything ready and prepare. But yeah, awesome. Just kind of chilling right now.
Awesome. And Paul Gale Network, where can we find you? What do you have going on?
I'm on Twitter, or Joyce's favorite X, and YouTube, Paul Gale Network on both. And the only thing new, well, one, if you haven't already checked it out, check out my Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Green Ranger transformation video, because that is a pretty fun little thing. And also, if you ever were curious, why did Nintendo go with the 4 colors and the 4 letters on the Super Nintendo controller? I made a video of that recently too. I mentioned that last week, so I'm just spitting it out there one more time. That's a fun little video, little history.
Go check it out. Go subscribe to Paul Gale Network. And Joycey J, where can we find you?
Hey, I'm Joycey. I'm DJ Joycey on Twitter. I'm just a crazy old lady who loves Zelda. And that's it.
Well, you can find Joycey J here at the Nintopics Podcast every single Friday. And then on Twitter, right? On Twitter?
Yeah. Isn't that what I said? I think that's what y'all, I've been at work since 7.
Yeah, I can tell. We can tell.
Your girl's tired.
You need to rest. All right. So, guys, you can find me here at the Odyssey. I want to say first thing, very happy birthday to Academy member moderator Blue Moon. She is the head moderator along with other head moderators of the channel. So happy birthday. Hopefully you have a good day, a good time. Jen Mar, if Blue Moon's not here, let her know. We shouted out her birthday today. And I think Jen Mar and Blue Moon are related. I think is it mother, daughter, or sister? I can't remember.
Very cool.
Related.
Family.
Family. They love each other. There she is. Happy birthday, Blue Moon. She's a birthday girl today. And that is the Nintopics Podcast, guys. We have 2 special words before we let you go. We live and we die, but we can't die by this word. If we die, then we're not journeying on because we're dead. So we go by these words. Never give up. Mom and daughter. There you go. Janmar, mom and daughter. So mom and daughter duet.
Nice.
So never give up and
journey on.
Journey on. Well, let me see what music I have here. It's not really it. It's not really it.
I'm so tired, y'all.
Me, Mario.
That's good old Charles Martin there, right there.
Mia.
At his best.
Mamma mia.
I'm doing it as an honor of Landon, our guest, or
My one and only true.
All right, so guys, take care. See you in the next one, and yeah, bye.
Good night, guys.
Bye, everybody. Have a good one.
I'm looking for the end stream button right now. I'm just gonna
Please.
keep waving
I'm
until
gonna fall over.
I'm over there somewhere.